Hi Gemini, welcome to Maddie Tarot. I'm Maddie, and today we're going to be doing a general reading for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements for the month of October 11th through 20th. Okay, so this is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everybody from front to back. Keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave the rest. You may need to swap roles throughout the reading because I am just reading energies and doing my best to decipher a message from those energies. So you may need to swap the roles. I could be talking about you, your person, another individual, another party. So just swap the roles as necessary. Don't try to stretch it or overextend yourself to make it fit. If it's not your story, it's not your story. But be sure to check your other placements because your messages could be there. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. I've meditated on the collective conscious of y'all, and I've cleansed the decks, cleansed the space, pre-shuffled, and let's get into it. So, Gemini, what does Gemini need to know? What does Gemini need to know? Gemini. Okay, card for Gemini. Pull one card for Gemini. Let's see. Justice and the energy directly affecting you. Page of Cups, or emotions. Page of emotions. Gemini, a person on Gemini's mind. Page of Voices and energy directly affecting them. Knight of Inspiration. Okay, 3 past energies that led to this. 3 past energies that led up to this. What is that? The 5 of Inspiration. The Ace of Inspiration. Oh, you got 2 more. The 9 of Inspiration and Death. Excuse me. All right, and Intuition for Gemini. 8 of Emotions. Challenge. Then 8 of Materials. And Advice. What's Gemini's advice? The 7 of Inspiration and Knight of Materials. Okay. Person on Gemini's mind, what are they thinking? Person on Gemini's mind, what are they thinking? The 5 of Materials. And what are they feeling? Person on Gemini's mind, what are they feeling? 9 of Materials. And what's their next move? Person on Gemini's mind, what's their next move? The Ace of Emotions. Okay. Bias for Gemini. The 7 of Voices. Caution for Gemini. The Hermit. And Focus. Focus is the Emperor. 2 guidance messages. You got 3. The 7 of Cups, Muse of Inspiration, and the 10, or 7 of Emotions, Muse of Inspiration, and 10 of Emotions. At the bottom of the deck, you got the 6 of Materials. Okay, we're going to pull 2 crystal cards for you. Peridotite, peridotite, and grossular. I've never even heard of those 2. Okay, so let's see. Let's hear about them. Okay, so peridotite, maybe. Peridotite. There can be a lot of negative energy and negative emotions surrounding you from day to day. This stone neutralizes those energies and allows your spirit to absorb knowledge and wisdom. Used during meditation, it also expands your mind so you can truly understand the beauty in life. And then grossular. This stone is in the garnet family. It can re-energize the chakras and then bring balance to those energies. It radiates a calming energy that is very useful in times of great stress. Hold over your heart or wear as jewelry, making contact with the skin. So the message I'm getting here, Gemini, is that you're battling a lot of negative emotions right now that are flowing through you. And this has to do with kind of life lessons and getting the dealing with internal maybe anger issues, or sadness that you're dealing with, and you're having trouble balancing that out, and maybe it's leaking into other parts of your life, but you're having trouble kind of transcending those energies and harnessing your power in regard to them. So peridotite and gracilar might help you at this time. Okay. All right, so let's get into this reading. So the you're a card for you and the energy surrounding you. So you got Justice and the Page of Cups. So I'm getting here that you maybe feel like there's some sort of balance that needs to be brought into your love life. Maybe you felt kind of sad recently with a partner, or maybe in failed connections that you've been involved in, or in your dating life, or maybe there's somebody who has kind of you've been in conflict with, but there's a call for justice here. And maybe this is saying that, you need to look at what cup you're bringing. The Page of Cups, he has a small cup, and it's not much, but it is something, and it's promising. So maybe you're needing to focus on the cup, that your cup at this time, and maybe what you're bringing to the table and to yourself. The more you can give to yourself, the more you can give to a connection. So let's clarify Justice, clarified by the Hermit. I was just talking about self. And clarify the Page of Cups. Justice, yeah. Alrighty. And then let's clarify your person real quick. They got the Page of Voices and the Knight of Inspiration, which is the Page of Swords and the Knight of Wands. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. The Magician and the Eight of Cups. Okay. So really on par with what I was saying. So you are feeling very imbalanced in yourself right at this time, and you're feeling like you need to kind of pull in some of that energy and see what's going on. This is leaking out into your relationship or your connections. And in regard to what cup you're bringing, are you giving as much as you're taking? Are you taking as much as you're giving? Are you able to find where this balancing is needed? And what are you able to also, like, meeting your own needs and as well as meeting your partner's needs? Are you aware of your partner's needs? Are you guys discussing these things? Okay. Your partner, or the person on your mind, and keep in mind if it's not resonating, you may need to swap roles, or I'm sorry. Oh, you may not be in a connection with this person, but they could be someone on your mind or somebody you've been involved with. But they are kind of non-communicative in the aspect of, like, speaking directly about their anger or directly about what's bothering them, and maybe a lot of things get swept under the rug, and this causes kind of like a friction or tension in your guys' relationship. This is something that they feel almost like they can't speak about certain things, or they don't know how to, so they have their own, they create this own issue for themselves in regard to some of the conflict you guys may face. It's a lot of a lot of it comes from their own limitations they put on their communication. Okay. And this person, I feel at this time, may be having I'm reading the cards, so I apologize, but maybe having thoughts of other people or possibly walking away, and maybe they've voiced this in different odd ways. Maybe they've said like they want to try new things, or they feel unfulfilled in the bedroom, or maybe they want to experiment. But it's really important to have communication surrounding these things, because this person doesn't seem like they are speaking up, and that may be some of the tension, is that they are kind of getting, how do you say, their attention is being directed, or they're focusing other places. um, Hopefully they're not, being unfaithful if you guys are in a connection. But I would really just kind of bring up some of these things and like, is there anything we need to talk about? Are your needs being met? What's going on with you? Relationship check-ins are very important to keep a relationship maintained. The energies that have led up to this, we've got the Five of Wands, the Ace of Inspiration, or Ace of Wands, Death, and Nine of Wands. So let's clarify. Two of Cups, King of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Yeah, okay, so I'm not saying this for everybody, but some of y'all, your person is either talking, flirting with other people, messing around, or they are thinking of this, or maybe light flirtation, light, small things. But again, that's not necessarily the case, but it seems like this might be on this person's mind. There's conflict in the love sector. So you guys have maybe had, this is the energy leading up to this. So there's, maybe you guys have had a lot of tit for tat or spats, or if you've been together for a long time, that happens, and it's about the way you guys repair the ruptures, because that is the number one factor to a long-term healthy relationship. Everyone has conflict, but are they getting resolved where everyone's happy? Or is somebody sublimating their needs and sweeping things under the rug? Are you guys actually coming to a resolution where everyone's happy? Are there things that are still not resolved? You gotta you gotta take a look at that. The Ace of Wands here is somebody maybe has thought of creating, has been submersed in their own creative endeavors, and maybe kind of taken that on as a way to find fulfillment that is not being brought about in this connection. The Death card and the Nine of Wands, you guys have persevered together, and the reason I'm holding all these together is because 4 came out, and then I only clarified with 3 because it was only supposed to be 3. But here, I'll put these over here with this last one. So the perseverance here, the wounded warrior, even though there's been pain, you guys still trek on in this connection. And this is because it's a big picture thinking. So King of Wands is like, you guys have made the decision to commit to each other, for those of you who are in a connection, and you look at the bigger picture. And so you guys do push through this pain, but there's again, is it being repaired correctly? And for those of you not in a connection, this could be persevering in your endeavor toward finding love, looking at the bigger picture, maybe not taking everything so personally, and taking it all into account, and keeping on that journey. The Death card and the Nine of Wands here. So, oh my gosh, I thought that was the Nine of Wands. Anyway, that's the Ace of Wands. So that's creation from the self. But the Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. My apologies there. The Death card, it's not changing the messages though, because I've combined all of them and kind of just and basing it off of that. But the death card here is transformation. It's like when a ending comes and then a new beginning comes in, and then the Nine of Wands, Wounded Warrior, and the Three of Cups. So the reason I'm saying that maybe a third party situation is because there's this conflict here with the Five of Wands and Two of Cups. There's conflict in this love sector. There's a need for passionate new creation and looking at the bigger picture, looking at the long term and making bold decisions. This person is not the best at communicating, and you've been feeling an imbalance in the love section and what you're giving, and maybe feeling a bit insecure. So the reason I put it all together is because now the Three of Cups has come out here. It's like this person may be flirting with other people, may have talked about it, may have mentioned a few things, but this is because of this, you know, our needs change and feelings change, and it's about finding those balances with somebody. And so this may be a topic of conversation for you guys about like what is not working for each other, how can we find resolve here, and you know, ultimately deciding if it is still, if the relationship is still relevant to each other's lives and where you guys stand at this time. And it's giving you guys, if you can communicate properly, there's no reason you can't find solutions here. Okay, so your intuition is telling you at this time, Gemini, that maybe the Eight of Cups is about walking away. I think you've sensed this a bit, and that's kind of why you're having. Oh, I'm gonna take this one that was on my hand because not that many was supposed to come out. You've been sensing this a bit. Eight of Cups, clarified by the star. You remain hopeful. You remain hopeful, and I'm getting here that you have your doubts. They come in, but you guys have been, for those of you who have been together for so long, you remain hopeful, and you're just like, no, that's not a thing. Or you maybe have felt, for those of you not in a connection, have felt like a sense of abandonment, or like somebody's walked away from you, or like you keep walking to new places and you can't seem to find something, but you remain hopeful. And I'm getting here that that's where the imbalance is coming in that in your abilities, and you questioning your abilities and such, is because of you're feeling this energy from your person or from these connections that are seemingly I'm getting here like a candle dimming. So the candle's dimming and you're kind of like, what's going on? Okay, so the Eight of Pentacles here is your challenge, is learning lessons and taking the educate the things you've learned and like using them to your benefit, using your skills, and you know what have take the education you have of your experiences and kind of apply them, and you know. Oh, and this is in regard to, yeah, look at your love. Look at the past of your love. Look at what you've learned from love and extract those messages and apply them, okay? Your advice here is the Seven of Wands and the Knight of Materials, clarified by the Queen of Pentacles and Strength. So the Seven of Wands is about protection and boundaries and defensiveness and standing up for yourself. And the Knight of Pentacles is about dedication, commitment. It's slow moving, it's hard working. So Strength and Queen of Pentacles, inner courage and guidance and bravery. And then this is like receiving and like practicality, and it's very it's like loving and loving energy. So what I'm getting here is that your advice here is to make sure you have strong boundaries. Watch out on being defensive. If you are committed to this person, you know, put in the work to keep that relationship alive. It's like you have to water the garden. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. You may be looking at your person, maybe, and your person needs to know this too. They may be looking at other lawns thinking, oh, it looks greener, but that's because they're not watering this lawn. You're not watering your lawn. So when you get over there and you see that you do the same things and the grass starts dying, and you go, oh, all these other lawns look greener. It's like, no, you just need to water you need to continue to water the grass that you're on, or other grass is going to look greener. It always does from far away eventually, but you get there and it's the same thing. You got to put are you putting the effort into the garden or not? Um, I'm fine. I'm getting a message here that you need to find your inner strength in order to be open to change in this connection. There's something that is shifting, and there's a lesson here. In the challenge is finding the lesson in love in this connection. And so there's some sort of shift that is happening, and having the strength to remain present, and not internalize everything, so you can witness it and then facilitate the changes in the moving forward that come from that, is what I'm getting here. Your person, what are they thinking right now? They're thinking of your person is questioning this relationship or this connection, or this has already happened if you're not with somebody. And the Five of Pentacles here says that they're thinking of possibly leaving, unfortunately. Let's see. Clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, there's they are looking at what they've learned, but again, they're not communicating. So this is largely unfair to you, because you don't get the opportunity to meet those needs, understand this person, and they've kind of taken it upon themselves to just learn what they needed to learn based on their one-sided opinion. That will backfire for this person. This is how they're feeling. Nine of Pentacles clarified by the Tower, and the Ace of Cups clarified by the Knight of Wands. Yeah. This person, if this is your story, this person is feeling unstable in this connection. So they're wanting to kind of break off in their own single energy, because they're feeling like this is coming to a tower moment. I think they're trying to avoid the tower moment, and they're largely focused on self. The Nine of Pentacles talks about material security, so this could be finance issues, and it also talks about it's just like kind of singlehood, giving to the self. And the tower moment here is something I feel like hasn't happened yet. They're feeling like this is coming, and or maybe they're feeling like leaving and understanding that might cause some sort of tower moment. Their next move, the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Wands. So the Ace of Cups is love and intimacy, and it's new connections, and the Knight of Wands is known as like the F boy, F girl card, and like somebody who's very flirtatious and stuff. This person may not directly say it, and I feel like may not even. They may be doing small things behind your back. Um, let's hope not. But again, communication around these things. If you guys both, there's nothing wrong with different relationship models or dynamics. A relationship works for the people. I'm sorry, a relationship is defined by those who are in it. So if you guys both have these feelings in regard to maybe wanting to explore other options, I mean, that's something you guys can discuss and come to an agreement with together. If you guys are not, if one of you is not open to that, personally, I'm not. So, I mean, I would not, I would not be in an open relationship dynamic. It's just not for me. So, having this discussion with this person and making sure you two are on the same page still is very important here, because it looks like this person's having doubts and questioning things. Your bias here is the Seven of Voices, the Seven of Swords. Your bias here is maybe the way you guys have had this dynamic going on. Maybe you might feel a little betrayed when you have this conversation with this person, or maybe you're feeling a bit left in the dark, or like you're Or maybe you're lying to yourself about something and you're kind of just going la-di-da-di-da and not wanting to pay attention. But your bias here has to do with some sort of betrayal or trickery or denial in the mind, and the way you're feeling about this situation toward this person. The Three of Swords here, heartbreak. Your bias here would be, so pain is relative and pain is never one-sided. So it's like in a connection, especially if a person is doing something that you don't like, it's like it hurts you, but also they're probably disconnecting as well because they're hurt. So again, communicating is so important. The Seven of Swords clarified by the Three of Swords. This is betrayal regarding heartbreak, and it's in your bias section. So you may be betraying yourself, is what I'm getting from here. And maybe that's because you guys, again, aren't having the real hard conversations that you need to be having. Your caution here is the Hermit, keeping to yourself. Be cautious of keeping to yourself. Be cautious of not looking inward deep enough to know what you're really feeling. Be cautious of not speaking on how you're really feeling. Be cautious of when this person is doing the same. Be cautious of when they're saying, I'm fine, and like you can tell they're not. Those hard conversations will fester and boil up one day, and everything can topple over. And this is clarified by the World. Yeah, be cautious of, the world is an end of a cycle. Be cautious of keeping to oneself, and because it will be the end. It will be the end of this connection if you guys are not. The message I'm getting here really deeply is you guys got to communicate. You guys got to be real honest, real transparent, real raw with yourselves and with each other. For those of you who are not in a connection, you need to do this internally in order to find people who really are going to go the distance with you, and who you are really going to want to invest in. Because the reason it's hasn't been working up to this point is because you haven't opened yourself up fully. When we enter a connection, if we're closed off, you can't build trust without giving trust. So if you've got trust issues, you're just going to create distrust. You cannot pick and choose if you're going to trust somebody. If they haven't done anything, you need to give them trust. And then they may break it, and then you have a reason not to trust them. It's not so much about, oh, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Relationships are going to hurt. People are going to hurt you. The people you love the most are going to hurt you eventually. You need to get over that. You have to, it's not about not wanting to get hurt. It's about learning how to navigate when you do get hurt, and knowing that you will be okay. And the better you prepare yourself and build yourself up to be able to handle the inevitable hardships and setbacks in life, the more prepared and able you will be to build long-lasting and deep, meaningful connections with somebody. So your focus here is the Emperor. Is your focus here needs to be on stability and the structure of this, either your heart space and the way you approach and handle relationships, or your connection, your current relationship, if for those of you that are in one. Okay, your focus is clarified by the Ten of Swords. So your focus needs to be on stability regarding something that, when you reach a wall and you feel defeated and you feel like you failed, there's something there where that's leaking out and breaking down the connections around you, and your ability to connect. So your three guidance messages here: Seven of Cups, the Muse of Inspiration, and the Ten of Cups. Your guidance messages here are thinking of the big picture, making the hard decisions, dropping the illusions, dropping the daydream fairy tales, and really focusing in on what is going to aligning your intention, your actions with your intentions. What's going to bring you that stability and happiness in the long term, big happy home you're trying to build. Clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. That's hard work, dedication, commitment, and Wheel of Fortune. So, oh, and what you don't see coming at the bottom, Seven of Swords. So, yeah, the choices you're making, the work you're putting in, choices you're making and the work you're putting in. Are you thinking of the big picture here? Are you making those bold decisions? Because the wheel sometimes it's going to keep turning. Sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you're at the bottom. And your fate and your destiny, it's contingent upon what you're doing and what path you're taking. If you want this big happy home, you need to make the bold decisions that will make sure you're dedicated to that. Drop the illusions and the daydreams and thinking that it's not hard work. It's not all fun all the time, and you got to do the hard work in order to get the result that you are wanting. What you don't see coming is there's some sort of betrayal that you will face, and that doesn't necessarily mean a breakup, but some sort of pain you will face regarding what's been given, or equal give and take. And so you'll feel like maybe you're dedicated and this person then kind of separates in a way. That will feel like a betrayal, obviously. But what you don't see coming, if you're not able to have these hard, difficult conversations, there's going to be something that is hidden, and somebody's going to act out in a way I feel is like unfaithful for those of you who are in a connection. That's why it's really important to bring these things up head on, direct, and be transparent. Okay. And if this is not, I know this is kind of intense, but like, if this is not your story, it's not your story. But for those of you, this is really, really focusing more on a connection. For those of you in a long-standing connection, your person, I'm going to tell you, is having doubts, and you need to directly address them and be honest. Have the difficult conversations. I'm going to pull a few energy cards here. Let's see. A few energy cards for Gemini. Love, isolation, faith, death, and happiness. Okay. There's a disruption in the happiness of this connection, and something is transforming here. There's faith. Both of you are holding on to faith. That's why this person hasn't said anything. And that's why this person continues to be there and move forward. However, somebody's feeling alone, isolation. And it's giving that if this continues, it will trickle down into being alone. So what I'm getting here really is that with good faith, you guys can make the proper changes in order to facilitate and bring in this happiness. This is going to require inner work on both ends, and to keep this love alive. And this is, again, resonating with those that have been in a long-term commitment. For those of you who aren't in a long-term commitment, I'm getting the message really that in order to find happiness with somebody, you gotta really maybe not be so picky. Stop nitpicking things. Let things go, because you can't be like, I want this, that, and the other. but not if da da da, but not if da da da, but not if da da da, because you're closing off all the doors of meeting somebody. You need to be open to receiving the blessings. The universe wants to give you the things you want. You need to be open to receiving them. And that means you're not nitpicking every little thing. You know, a lot of people don't know this about relationships, but when you meet somebody, you will always reach a point where you doubt you doubt the person and you start picking out all the things you don't like about them, and you're going to give yourself every reason in the world to not like them and not continue. And that is mostly an internal thing. It's something that we project our brain starts to do this thing where we pick the person apart because we are now feeling vulnerable, and we are now feeling insecure, and we are now feeling shame, or our own doubts are coming out. Okay, so once you get past that stage, though, once you push through, then you get to the real stage of where love really flourishes. So for those of you who are not in a connection, you really got to be honest with yourself about what these feelings are in you, and where they're stemming from, and if it is actually something that externally is not preferable about the person. Like, because if you're just like, gosh, this just, I just don't like the shows he likes, or he wore he I just his outfit on the first date, like, mm-mm. Like, that is so petty. That is so petty. That has nothing to do with a person's personality or what they're able to give you, or even their looks even. So like, they don't wear the nicest clothes, but like, do you like the way they look, and are they looking for the same things you're looking for? You can get over that. They can get new clothes. You know what I mean? Like, don't be shallow. So maybe it is that deep and you're just being shallow. You know what I mean? Or, like, I'm not saying all of you, but and that's not even a bad thing. It's about awareness. It's about awareness and knowing where your own feelings of doubt and shame are coming from. They are your issues to deal with. Usually, blaming something else minor like that outside is just a tactic our brain uses to keep us from facing those things. Okay, so Gemini, that's all I have for you today. I really hope it helped. Thank you.